So, generally, how engaged is the Guyanese community in New York and beyond in the events, in addition to family fun day? How engaged are they in the other activities?
They look forward to it. Because let's take Family Fun Day, for example. There's an influx of people coming into New York, and on their agenda is attending Family Fun Day. Now, based on who the artist is on stage, for example, we might do a mini kwekwe at Family Fun Day. And some of the individuals who will really get deep into it might not have been those who were here in town, right, in time to attend kwekwe night.
Kwekwe night, okay.
So they get their own kwekwe then. And they pull their friends together. I think it was like 3 or 4 years ago. We had a group in front of the stage. They did their own kwekwe while the guys were on stage playing the music. The musicians were so into it that they got into folk songs, you know, Ring a Ring of Roses and all these things. And it was fun to watch these grown women and men, you know, hopping around and enjoying it. So it's really quenching the thirst for the Guyanese culture, and they really get into it. I mean, that's just a very small piece of, and then, you know, I think every event has its followers, because there's some who just love going to the award ceremony, you know, and they will get upset if they didn't know, or they came late, or something got in the way that they didn't get a chance to. So I would say that the Guyanese community is very locked in to what's going on. And when I say Guyanese community, especially as I talk again about the awards, is that people also come from out of New York and out of the US to attend, for example, the awards, because it might be somebody that they know who is an honoree. One of the bullet points that I need to make is that the nominees are not only Guyanese here in the US. It's Guyanese on the ground in Guyana, and it's Guyanese in other parts of the world. And if they're able to make the trip to come and be here in person to accept their award, then you find that they may have supporters coming with them. So I would say Guyanese people are really lucky.
Yeah, I do remember a few months back reading in a Guyanese newspaper, seeing a story where Edgar Henry was in Guyana presenting awards to Guyanese who had won. Yes.
That was just last year. That
was last year. I was thinking time is going so quickly. I was thinking it was this year, yes.
No, it was just last year. But we had quite a few Guyanese on the ground in Guyana who were honorees. So, yeah.
Right. So what about in terms of other organizations? Does GCA have any links with other Guyanese or diaspora associations?
I would say a slight yes. And I think Georgia also has something similar to ours, a Guyana Cultural Association, I think. Something similar. I can't remember what they call themselves, but they have something similar. I say a slight yes, only because if there is any guidance that's needed to do a particular type of program, you would find that we would be used as the resource. And so that's why I said a slight yes. But in terms of collaborating with respect to us going there and they coming here, we haven't gotten there yet. You know why? To be honest, we don't have the funds. You know, we don't have the funds. I think we really do an excellent job with the limited funds that we have.
And when you think about it, 22 years, you know, it's a pretty young association. So, you know.
But I have to tell you, the way that we do our programming it looks like if we're sitting on millions of dollars. Not, you know. I make fun of the fact that we have like 5 cents and we're producing dollar worth programs, and it's a testament to the experts that we have on our team at GCA, because everybody brings some form of expertise to the table, and that really helps to cut down on the costs for many events. And so I must put a plug and say thanks to my colleagues as we continue to work together in keeping GCA alive. But we're mostly used as a resource, I would say, for other Guyanese organizations who might be seeking guidance.
Right, yeah, that's good. And it's good that they have some, someone or some group to which they can turn when they need advice or they need help and so on. So as we continue, some of what I'm going to mention now, you spoke about, and I don't know if you want to reiterate or highlight a little more, but we already talked about ways in which GCA engages with non-Guyanese. And I don't know if you wanted to highlight a little more on that and ways in which that helps to foster this cross-cultural awareness, interculturality.
Oh, sure. And, I also, I know that I briefly mentioned some countries that Guyanese are living in, that we fostered relationships with, but I'm also thinking of, you'd mentioned Japan earlier, right? Friend in Japan. We have folks in United Kingdom. We have folks in Thailand, in Thailand, Africa, Canada, Australia. Those are some of the places, and some Caribbean islands from which we've worked with individuals who are Guyanese and non-Guyanese, I must say. Now, regarding the cross-cultural awareness and interculturality piece, the criticality, I think, of understanding that work, that type of work, is really about having conversations before the practicum follows. And I say that because, for example, with Kwekwe, and I lean to Kwekwe because I'm very familiar with Kwekwe. When we decide to collaborate with a group that is different from ours, we have to sit and talk. We have to share research so that we each can understand how we will show what it looks like for our group, the Guyanese group, the night before, and how this other group will show what it looks like the night before.
Right.
Okay? So that's part of the cross-cultural piece that comes in. That's part of the interculturality that you're talking about that comes in. And we see that also when we look at who some of the authors are who come forward, who are selected to be panelists or presenters at the literary hang and or symposium. We see that there. We've had, for example, right now, I know for the summer workshop series, and last year we had a Guyanese in Trinidad who was doing dance. Right? He lived 3 years in Trinidad. So, the lean of the dance would be more of the soca kind of thing, which is appealing to the youngsters. This year, we have somebody from Barbados who is well-rounded, not just with being a Barbadian, but also with styles of dances from Haiti, styles of dances from Trinidad. You get what I'm saying? So I'm saying all of that to say is that we're exposing the young children who represent different nationalities to different types of cultural emphases.
Yes.
So it's happening also with the children at the summer workshops.
Yes, that's beautiful. Yes. That's great. So we're COVID-19, it affected the world in so many ways, each of us as individuals, and I'm sure it's had some kind of impact on GCA and your programs and events. Could you speak about that, please?
Yes, I can. I can. You know, like many other organizations, like you said, GCA has been affected. I mean, we mourned the loss of quite a few of our supporters. One of the first people who we heard died was an avid supporter who was a member of the Lions Club. She would wholeheartedly take over the closing of the summer workshop series and bring her Lion colleagues, and she would bring food and everything, really lay out for the closing. And she was the first person that we lost to COVID that we knew of, and then it never stopped, you know. And it was a difficult time for GCA. It's kind of sort of still difficult because we're working on bouncing back. But for 2020 and 2021, we did the whole virtual thing and then the hybrid thing. We had to. Now in 2020, all programs were virtual. And a nice thing came out of that. We added another program, Let's Talk Kwekwe, which was awesome. We really pushed the needle a little bit, and we included that. Let's Talk Kwekwe was sometime in June, actually before our season jumped off. In 2021, we went hybrid, and we were able to include 2 orphanages on the ground in Guyana, St. Anne's Orphanage and I say Joshua's house.
I think it's, yes, I think it's Joshua's house. At least that's what it used to be called. I don't know if... I
think it has something about center at the end of it. I know. Okay. I've latched on to Joshua's house, but we were able to add those 2 to the summer workshop series. So we were able to, and that's the hybrid piece. We actually had our children in person for summer workshop, and then we had the children from the 2 orphanages virtually, and they were a part of. And our tech team worked magic in bringing the pieces together for the closing ceremony. So that was good. And last year also, we were able to add another forum. I don't want to call it event because it was a very passive one. And that was called Shine a Light, where we, as a community, we brought the community together and mourned the loss of Guyanese that died due to the COVID-19. We had a couple of friends of Guyanese who we also included because they've been avid supporters of the work that we do. We canceled Family Fun Day. We canceled Kwekwe. We had to last year. We just could not put our supporters at risk. And now we're here, 2022. We're bouncing back. You know, our resilience is at work. And as we bounce back, we're dealing with a lot of competition because many individuals who never had events are having events now. You know, so everybody wants to come out. So this year we are planning ahead, and our season is intact. And like I mentioned earlier, we've started with the summer workshop series. And I don't think I've mentioned the Caribbean heritage piece that's latched on to our summer workshop series. I hinted to the fact that we do have teachers representing different countries. Right. Have children also represent different countries. They're not just Guyanese children or children of Guyanese heritage. So it's a real nice hodgepodge, and we're able to share. We're able to teach, rather, children how to respect others.
Yes,
So we're
yes.
forward this year, and our theme is Carry Festa at 50, Reflections and Legacies. And we will continue urging forward after the summer workshop series and August 12th. We have the symposium that starts on the 5th of August and ends on the 7th. The awards will happen on August 31st. That's a Wednesday. And Kwekwe Night is going to be September 2nd. And Family Fun Day is going to be September 4th. So I really hope that
Yes.
public really riled up and ready
Yes. Well,
to come out and have a great time.
I'm sure, and I'm sure you're gonna get, I mean, your support is gonna be overwhelming, you know. Said we outside, everybody is glad to be back. Yes. So you mentioned earlier when I asked about, you know, if somebody wants to give financial support, you gave the names of a number of individuals. But now, if I want to become involved in the organization, and what do I do? And, you know, if I want to know about, you know, what you have coming up and so on, could tell us how we do that.
Yes, definitely. Our website is guyfolkfest.org. Guyfolkfest, one word.
Right.
We have our Facebook page, Guyana Cultural Association of New York, Inc. We have our YouTube channel, Guyana Folk Festival. We have our physical mailing address, which is 884 East 95th Street, Brooklyn, New York, 11236. Again, 884 East 95th Street in Brooklyn, New York. The zip code is 11236. 11236. And the email address I gave you earlier was Claire A. Goring, LAIREAGORING, and that belongs to our executive director, Claire Goring, who really keeps everything alive and well and intact. And the phone number that you can reach someone live would be 718-209-5207. And again, if anyone wants to be in touch with us and get information about becoming a part of us, I would say pick up the phone, make that phone call. That would be the quickest way. And based on your interest that you would have shared, we can talk to you more about how you can become a part of the work that we do.
Okay, beautiful. Okay, thank you so much. And before we end our conversation, what would you say is the future of the Guyana Cultural Association of New York, Inc.? How do you see the association as we move forward?
You asked that question, and I think of my friend, Dr. Leah Matthews, who has been doing and continues to do extensive research on hometown associations. And one of the things that he has been really pushing for us to understand is the importance of passing the baton to the youth. Because one of his findings is that many individuals grow old in positions of the organization. And as much as they say that we want to pass it on to the youth, it's not happening. And it's so true, again, based on his research that has been done, and he continues to do this work. So one of the things that we've been talking about at GCA is succession planning. And that's our variation on the theme in terms of looking at some of the work that Dr. Leah Matthews is researching, and how we pass the baton to the youth. For example, we're engaging our youth in the summer workshop series, where we have counselors in training who are the young ones who, some of them were once a part of the summer workshop series, and they've grown into their own, and now they are counselors and counselors in training. And we give them the opportunity to really test their leadership skills from a very young age. For our board, we've added a couple of youths. Our cultural director is Clive Powell. He is a brilliant creative. I mean, hands down, not just with choreography.
Yeah, that's, yes, I'm saying that name is so familiar. He
headed he headed he was the executive director for classic dance.
Classic dance. Oh, okay.
Yes, yes. Such a brilliant young man. And we have Marcia Gordon, who is a creative in her own right and a budding techie. So we're really pushing for that. We also have someone named Samuel Williams, who is the prodigy of Raul de Silva, our lead tech person on the team. And we also have recently added Shauna Harding and Shania de Silva to our youth arm, I would say. Our president, our secretary of the awards committees, Marcia Gordon, I mentioned her earlier. She is a youth. We have Adina Blenman, who is the head counselor in training at the summer workshop series. So in a nutshell, we are listening to their ideas, and we also get to groom them to take on the leadership positions in the organization. So that's really where our future is.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, that's, and and I'm pretty sure too that the young people bring some fresh ideas, and that maybe those more mature ones, to put it nicely, might not think about, because how they think in tech terms and algorithms, and they might be, social media, the social media savvy, and I'm sure they're bringing those ideas to the board, to the body, and that helps the association as well. And so, and I really like the fact that you're doing what Dr. Matthew said. You allowing, you passing the baton, you're setting things up so that the association will continue. It wouldn't fade away when the ones who started it leave the scene.
Yeah, and I gotta say this, and some individuals who've been doing community organization work would agree. Folks come to, for example, family funding, and they enjoy themselves, and in the of the excitement, I want to join, what do I need to do to join? And you tell them, and then you see them next year and they come up with the same song, I want to join. I'm saying all of that to say the work, the heavy lifting that we do, sometimes we make it look easy, and in the moment people think that, oh, I can do it. And there are some people who've come forward and say, okay, I think I want to join, but then when it comes to committing time and energy, it does not happen. And we are thankful for the youths that we have. And in terms of brilliant ideas, I tell you, I've sat on some meetings whereby we're busting our brains trying to come up with stuff, and then one of the young ones would just say something. It's like, oh, yeah, that's a good idea. Let's go with that. I mean, it's so refreshing, so refreshing to have our youth on board, and we are thankful for them.
Beautiful, right? So I'm really happy that we can see that GCA New York Inc. has a bright future ahead. You have these brilliant young minds that you're grooming and incorporating into planning and programs and so on. So it has really been a pleasure chatting with you today, Dr. Rose October, and here you're representing the Guyana Cultural Association of New York Inc. Thank you so much for giving us insight into the association, what you do, your programs, your events, and I'm going to encourage our viewers to remember it's not just New York. So get engaged, go to the website. We have all that information for you, and support the Guyana Cultural Association of New York Inc.
Yes.
Yes. So thank you again for being here, Rose. I enjoyed our conversation, and I thank the viewers for watching. And we're going to see you soon as we meet more people, we share new experiences, and we keep learning about cultures in our next episode of Our Culture to the World.
I just wanted to say thank you for allowing me to grace your stage. It was such a pleasure.
Yes, it's been a pleasure. Okay. Bye now, Rose.